Scottish Highlands lies a mountain where many have felt a dread quite unlike anything else they have ever experienced. As the fogs and mists roll across the cairns, they say there lurks a creature huge and terrifying. They call it Am Fear Liath Mor, or the Big Grey Man. Some see him as the big grey figure in robes, a giant, or even a devil. The creature does not just threaten with a force of physical power, this beast also causes an almost suicidal sense of depression and panic in all who come near it. Come hear it. Ben Macdhui is the second highest mountain in Scotland, standing at over 4,000 feet. It is an imposing sight and a substantial test for experienced climbers. Many of the witnesses who see, or feel the presence of, the Grey Man are serious, hardened mountaineers, not prone to flights of fancy. The first person to reveal he had met the mountain's strange tenant was Professor Norman Colley. Colley was a respected and well-known climber, but when he gave his speech to the Cairns Club in 1925, the audience was truly stunned. Colley explained that he had been coming down from the peak of Ben Macdhui in 1891 when he heard footsteps behind him. At first, shrouded in mist, he rationalized that it must just have been an echo of his own footfalls. But eventually he realized the noises he heard were not corresponding to the movements he was making. It sounded like a giant was following him. He said it was as if someone was walking after me, but taking steps 3 or 4 times the length of my own. Terrified, Colley blindly ran for 4 or 5 miles down the mountainside until he could no longer hear the noise. Colley never returned to the mountain, and to his dying day resolutely believed there was something very queer about Ben Macdhui. During the Second World War, Peter Densham was a mountain rescue worker, locating and saving pilots who had crashed in the Cairns. One day he was at the top of Ben Macdhui when a heavy mist started to fall. He sat and waited for conditions to improve. After a while he began to hear strange crunching noises and suddenly felt a presence close by. He stood up to investigate, but was immediately seized by a feeling of panic. Before he realized what was happening, he was running down the mountain to the sheer cliff edge. He dangerously close to said, "Afterwards I tried to stop myself and found this extremely difficult to do. It was as if someone was pushing me. I managed to deflect my course, but with a great deal of difficulty." Since then, many people have spotted a strange being, or felt an overpowering sense of impending doom in the area. One of the most recent encounters occurred in the early 1990s. 3 men were walking in a forest just outside Aberdeen. One of the party spotted a human-shaped figure running across the track a little way ahead of them. He told his friends, and when they all looked in the same direction they saw a strange, not quite human face. A few weeks later, the same group were driving in the area when they realized they were being followed by the same tall, dark being. The creature kept pace, even at speeds of 45 miles an hour, but eventually tired and stopped. Again, these men felt a distinct sense of terror and foreboding. Monster enthusiasts have plenty of ideas about the beast's origin. Some say he could be an alien, or the ghost of an old Highlander race, or even a mystical, wise religious figure. One interesting theory is that atop Ben Macdhui there is a gateway to another dimension, and this creature is the gatekeeper. If this really is his role, then he is doing a good job. After an experience with the Big Grey Man, very few people have dared to venture up Ben Macdhui.